Okay, so the quadratic formula is what we're doing here, practicing using it. Now, the examples that I've shown you, when we have worked this formula all the way through, we've ended up getting numbers under the radical that had a perfect square root. This time that's not going to happen. So what we need to learn from this lesson is what we do, how we reduce the radical, how we reduce the numbers under the radical and put the equation into simplest radical form. So think of it as reducing fractions. We don't leave like 8 over 2. We would reduce that to 4. Or 2 over 4. We would reduce that to 1/2. So it's the same sort of thing. Okay, first I'm going to make sure I'm set equal to 0. And then A equals +1. B equals 4. And C equals -3. Okay, and my formula, x equals -b plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Now I'm going to plug the numbers in. X equals -4 plus or minus the square root, 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times -3 all over 2 times 1. Next line down. X equals -4 plus or minus the square root, 4 squared, 16, minus 4 times 1 is -4, and then -4 times -3 is 12. So I'm seeing that I've got a negative and a negative. I'm going to make that a plus, and I'm going to put 12. Divided by 2. My next line down, x equals -4 plus or minus, and 16 plus 12 is 28. 16 plus 12, 28. So I got 28 divided by 2. Now, 28 does not have a perfect square root. So what we're doing now is what we call the hockey stick method. You're going to be doing a lot of reducing radicals in Math 3. So I want you to remember the hockey stick method. And once it's discussed that we have to reduce a radical, then you say, oh yes, we'll be using the hockey stick method. And that's how you're going to remember this. Okay, so the hockey stick method says that I start with the number that I have to reduce, 28. And remember, it's the square root of 28. So it's under the radical. Okay, I start dividing by 2. If I can divide by 2, I divide by 2 first. So 2 times what is 28? 14. Divided by 2 again. 2 times what is 14? 7. I've gone as far as I can go, right? Okay, now I'm going to put these numbers together. And what do I end up with? A hockey stick, right? Come on, kind of looks like a hockey stick. Okay, so these numbers traveled into the hockey stick. Now, this hockey stick is not actually a hockey stick. What it is, it's a wedding chapel in Las Vegas. Yes, you didn't know that, but it is. Okay, now, 2 people go in to the hockey stick chapel to get married. What do the 2 come out as? 1. So for every pair, we pull out 1. Now, this poor 7 got stood up. Nobody came in to marry the 7. So he's angry and he's radicalized. So he stays under the radical. 2 radical 7. So now you know how to do the math plus a fun little story. Okay, we're not done though. We put this number, and we did that side work. We put it back here. X equals -4 plus or minus, and now this has been reduced to 2 radical 7 divided by 2. Now I look at those outside fractions. Whatever's here stays. But notice I got a 2 over 2 and a 4 over 2. So those are going to get reduced. And I'm going to have x equals, now I'm going to reduce. This 2 is going to become a 1. That 2 is going to become a 1. This 4 is going to become a 2. Just like I have fractions that I reduce. So now I'm going to have 2 plus or minus the square root of 7. So my answer, I'm going to split that up. X equals 2 plus the square root of 7, and x equals 2 minus the square root of 7. There's my answers. Still took the same 7 minutes, even with the hockey stick story. Okay. Any questions? Now you guys get to practice it.